started. Welcome to the Marc and Pete podcast.
We're here.
We're here. I'm Mark. This is my trusty co-host, Pete. Pete, how you feeling today?
I'm psyched.
He's psyched. We got a great podcast today. We're going to be talking about podcasting. This is our first episode. First episode of the Marc and Pete podcast. The name's a work in progress. We're still figuring that out, but that's what the whole episode's about, right? Is figuring out how to make a very successful podcast. Now, Pete, why do we want to make a podcast?
Well, it's really like the people's.
Hold on myself.
Oh, you jackass!
First few minutes. Today's podcast is sponsored by Ranch Water. It's the best seltzer ever made in West Texas. Right? It's brewed in West Texas, right? Or do you brew a seltzer, or how do you make a seltzer?
Roots in far West Texas.
Roots in West Texas, brewed in Beijing, China. This is Abby. Abby is our guest today.
Yeah, let's mention the dog in the room.
She's going to be joining us today. Expert ball fetcher, pizza enthusiast. So why are we starting a podcast, Pete?
Well, the podcast is really like the people's medium, isn't it? There's very low barrier to entry. Not to curse today's endeavor, but as we just try to figure it out. But you can blog, but who wants to read words on a page?
Yeah, no one reads anymore. So it's the only one of the only mediums that works. And I feel like the barrier to entry is just high enough that there's not too many people doing it, right? It's not super competitive. I feel like it'll be easy to get one that's massively successful, because in the end, we're looking to make lots of money, because pretty sure we're entering a recession. I don't know if you've read the news. So probably it's gonna spell bad things for our day jobs, and we're gonna need to replace that income, and Papa needs a Lambo. You know what I'm saying?
Ice cream paint job.
Ice cream paint job. All right. So why again are we starting a podcast? And what's our podcast about?
Podcasting just because we can.
Podcasting because we can. Because we already had a camera and microphones.
Bunch of audio equipment.
Yeah. And so we jotted down a few things. So this one's going to be about podcasting, about our journey into podcasting, or how we're approaching it. We'll get into that maybe.
Sure. Yeah. You want to start with the camera?
Yeah. So the first thing is we're doing video. Straight out of the gate, we've got a video camera on us, and I think it's important. I thought all the best podcasts do video. It's gonna set you apart. It's gonna make it a more engaging medium for because then you're not just a podcaster, right? Then you're also a YouTuber.
Or a YouTuber.
If Netflix wants to buy this, could be a Netflixer. Opens up more opportunities, especially once we get our advertisers and stuff. We'll be able to show the product. The man grate. The what else? What else it could be?
And let's not lie. I mean, we're terribly vain.
Yeah, need a camera on me. At almost all times.
Why not?
Yeah. If you see us looking over here, this is where our producer is, and they're giving us notes, and it's also where there's a big monitor where we can see our faces. If you're gonna start a podcast, I recommend. It's not that hard to turn a camera on, point it at yourself and do some video. Since this is the first podcast that we're doing, I'm just gonna look in here, make sure audio is recording correctly. Looks like it is. Looks like I'm doing a lot more talking than you, Pete. You have anything to add about video?
I think it speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself. A picture.
It's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah. And then so audio, right? So, you can't be a podcast without audio. Unless you did a silent podcast, huh? Never been done before. Could be the first. But, could talk about the audio setup that we've chosen here. A couple of microphones. No mic stand. We're just holding it like field news broadcasters, right? Out there on the mean streets.
Yeah, I feel like a real stand-up guy.
Yeah, or yeah. All right. So a couple microphones we're using. Shure SM58s. It's kind of the gold standard for live performances. You see them on stage more often than I don't know. It gets recorded a lot though too. The Beatles used SM58s, pretty sure, as did the Rolling Stones and U2. And
Did you just make that up?
well, I've heard. I think there's I just threw the box away, but I think it's got like a list of artists that use it.
Kind of like when you buy guitar strings.
It's probably the world's most common microphone, But yeah, so I got two of those. Mine has a switch on it, so I can turn the
Don't do that
turn the audio on and off as I need.
for the first and the last time.
Pete's doesn't have a switch, and at first I was like, oh shoot, I should have gotten him one with a switch too. But no, I think the switch is probably more of a curse than a blessing. But we got that. We've got that running into this USB audio interface over here. This is the SSL2 by Solid State Logic. It's a nice, entry-level interface. Thing is that it only has 2 mic inputs. So when we have a guest, we'll have to get a bigger audio interface or figure something out. But so far, seems to be working pretty well. It has this button here, just says 4K on it, and I think it makes it sound better. I don't know, this is us without it.
Without it.
Without it, it's a little bit clearer, but with it, I think it's a little bit richer, if you will. A nice warm analog saturation, perhaps. So, yeah. So that's that. Any other thoughts on audio, Pete?
Did you mention the DAW?
Oh yeah, no. So software-wise, we haven't at the time of this recording, we haven't edited any of these, so not exactly sure how that's going to go. Probably going to use DaVinci Resolve to mix everything together. But for audio, you can see here we're using Ableton, just because I already had it installed for music production. So hopefully it will work fine. But I imagine you can use any sort of audio record. There might even be podcast. If there isn't podcast-specific recording software,
There should be.
yeah, could be a little product idea down the road.
So, yeah, I think that is a nice segue into our next category, distribution. We mentioned YouTube, obviously. It's a great place for podcasts, and I imagine that kind of becoming the hearth around which our community forms, where you can see and listen to us.
YouTube, the hearth.
We also plan on releasing on Spotify? I think you
Yeah, we're gonna be on all major platforms.
You poo-pooed SoundCloud.
Yeah, because this is a professional operation, and I think SoundCloud is for amateurs, right? Or
Careful.
all right. Oh, we just lost that sponsorship opportunity with SoundCloud. How are we going to get it on? Because I know there's like there's products out there that'll distribute it all for you. So you just upload it to them, and then they put it on everything and optimize it all. Have we figured out which one of those we're gonna use? Right, we haven't looked into it yet. Let's look into it now. Podcast distribution. Pull that up, Jamie. Looks like there's Buzzsprout. It's the first one. And there's Asha. There's Libsyn. Let's see the first one that's not an ad. Anchor FM. Huh. Looks like this is like the software you can actually make it in. Oh, it's by Spotify. Look at that. Maybe we should be using this.
Sweet.
Oh, shit. I don't know. Do you think it's any good? It's got a nice website. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we'll probably want to use something like that, so that we don't have to go upload to YouTube and go upload to Spotify and go upload to iTunes. And it seems like that would be a lot of work. All right. Well, is that all the stuff we had on podcasts? Well, we have written down here production tricks, because we're both pretty savvy, with computers and stuff. So we figure we're gonna work in some production tricks.
Production values.
So we've saved this space up here where there's this nice drawing up above the couch. Figure we can superimpose stuff up there, and kind of illustrate whatever we're talking about. Yeah, we'll duck down there. See, right now, as we're saying it, the camera's gonna pan up a little bit, and there's gonna be a picture of something. So we got that.
Losing some focus there.
We are losing a little focus. What's going on there? Autofocus. Don't like that. And then also, what is up with the?
It's your foot. It's your foot again.
Is it the foot?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta keep an eye on that, I guess. I want to try this. So this is so if I turn on video, right, and then I start filming with the camera, so then we can see the camera over there, and pan over and see there's Pete over there, and I figure we should be able to sync up the audio. Oh shit! Wait, now it's recording. Yeah. There's Pete. We should be able to sync up the video with that. So maybe we'll try that as a trick. Maybe some field recording stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's another trick? I mean, we're gonna add all kinds of sound effects, stuff in post, right? Is that part of the plan?
A laugh track, I think.
Yeah.
But I think the production tricks that are really the production tricks that people are actually interested in learning if they're trying to get into podcasting are things like audio sweetening and levels and just kind of those little idiosyncrasies of audio recording. They're not exactly sexy or exciting, but it's the little details that make for quality.
Explain to the folks at home what idiosyncrasy means.
It's like a thing that's specific to podcasting.
Wow. Idiosyncrasy, something specific to podcasting. Okay. Yeah, so audio sweetening. And what were the other things you said? I wasn't able to follow because I didn't yet know what idiosyncrasy meant.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, those are the production tricks that we're gonna be trying to illustrate here as we're filming or editing this podcast. But yeah, just expect a bunch of visual stuff. We only have the one camera, so we're gonna try the iPhone trick too. But it'll probably be like panning and zooming, see what we can get away with. Filming in 4K, but then if we knock that down to 1080p, then we'll be able to get some like close up shots,
Punch it in like that. Yeah, that's the beauty of 4K video.
punch it in. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, well, that's enough on the process itself. What is our philosophy on podcasting and the sort of content that we're going to create?
What is our philosophy? I think we're here to figure that out, aren't we, Mark?
Yeah, that's why I asked. Pete wants to get lunch at the Brick.
We were at the Brick yesterday.
Yeah, the text was also an hour ago. But yeah, I'm sorry. What is our philosophy? I think it's going to be like general content. We're going to pick a topic for each episode. This one is supposed to just be podcasting.
How to start a podcast.
I feel like we kind of blazed through all of our notes because we're not good at it yet, so we don't know how to like take one topic and expand it out. But ideally, that's what we'll be doing eventually. Yeah, but of course, leave a comment for anything you'd like us to cover. We're experts in most fields.
Do you consider yourself a jack of all trades?
Yeah, I consider myself a jack off of all trades, if you will.
PG-13.
Is that too blue? All right, well, we'll bleep that. We can bleep, right?
We're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure out bleeping. I don't know. And is that a problem? Do we need to figure out Pete thinks that some potential employer is going to find his podcast and see him drinking a seltzer and using the fuck word, and is going to, so we'll bleep it when I say it there. But, and then he's not going to get a job because we're not full-time media personalities yet.
I'm trying so hard not to say fake it till you make it. Because, that's just the worst advice, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, what you're really fake. Oh, well, I guess faking
Being like a media personality.
Successful. Yeah. Well, that could be good advice, but it is a little bit douchey.
We're a little bit douchey.
All right. You could say that.
No, we're super down to earth.
I think we're a couple just down to earth guys. Just making a podcast because that's what Trying not to. We're both 30, right? And we got to stay hip and with it. We know no one's reading blogs anymore, and no one's what did we used to do when we were young?
Like steal music. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out. We're just shitting out content right now. Like we're 24 minutes into the video recording, so that's pretty good. What if we shoot for an hour and then condense it down to a half hour? Huh? The first one? Ideally, I'd like more like 45 minutes to an hour podcasts, but I don't know. Baby steps. This one's going to require a lot of editing because we're still figuring out what the rules are. Right? I guess it could affect our sponsorship opportunities. If we go too blue. I don't know, Pete. Wax poetic on something. I'm tired of talking. I feel like I'm doing the heavy lifting here.
Bow chicka wow wow.
This guy talks me into doing the foot and the focus. Talks me into doing a podcast. He doesn't have anything to fucking say.
Yeah, I feel like we can't cross our legs.
Yeah. Well, you know,
It's really messing up the
little
camera.
out of focus action every once in a while. It's got like a cinematic effect. I feel like I need to work on my posture. I'm like melting into the couch. I'm like one of those anti-drug ads. you
Yeah,
know?
my legs going like 1,000 miles an hour. That would be a good segment for us. You know, lots of people like to look something up on, you know, like we were Googling podcast ideas, and one was essentially just hit that random article button on Wikipedia and talk about it. Well, I think we could turn it into, that's not dirty, that's just science.
Yeah. Let's do it now. Huh? What is a science news? It's a science podcast now. Science news. Theconversation.com. You familiar? Jurassic World. Radio burst.
Out of outer space.
Science is pretty boring. Why does the moon look close some nights, and other nights it looks very far away? I always thought it had to do with how close the moon is to the horizon, right?
Yeah, there's something to do with like refraction in the atmosphere. Refraction of light.
Yeah, yeah. It's just an illusion. So like if you see the moon and it looks real big out there on the horizon, and then you see it again and it looks real small way up high in the sky. If you like took a piece of paper and drew how big the moon was in both those positions, the circle would be the same size. Did you know that?
Like compared to the sky.
No, just like how compared to your perspective.
Oh, your perspective.
Yeah. So, you know, like, I don't know. Oftentimes if you try to take a picture of the moon, I guess unless you got a good camera. But, you know, if that camera was zoomed in the same amount, you take the big moon and you take the picture of the small moon, the circle would be the same size. It only looks bigger because you see it relative to, I don't know. I think that's what it's saying here.
Perspective.
Yeah, see, same sort of thing. Like these are the same size circles, but this one looks smaller because it's surrounded by big circles.
You're saying those two orange circles are the same size?
Yeah,
Oh, you're shitting me.
yeah. It's called perspective, Pete. It's all an illusion. It's the grand illusion.
No way.
Yeah, it's a pretty common thing. You ever seen that before? You never been a child? Learned. You never been on Tumblr?
Don't get me started on Tumblr. Should we talk about Tumblr?
Talk about Tumblr. What are your thoughts on Tumblr, Pete? Give me something.
I read this meme and it said, one day you will close Tumblr for the last time. And that one really hit different. I've been a member since, 2012, maybe 2010. I've had a few Tumblr blogs, and I just kind of follow the trends. Follow where it goes, but
Where does it go?
I find the I check it less and less frequently now, and
Is it falling off?
well, it's like that long tail kind of effect, like it'll never completely fall off, but yes, it is falling off. That was always one of my favorite like business stories, the whole Yahoo Tumblr kerfluffle. They bought it for like $1 billion, drove the price down to like $600,000 in the course of like 4 years.
Yeah, why has Yahoo been so terrible? Remember they were like the biggest thing on the internet for a while, and then they just fucked it up, like after just folly after folly.
Yahoo!
Didn't they have the opportunity to buy Google at one point for like $1 billion?
Never heard that.
I think so. If we had someone to pull it up, I don't feel like I can host and do the Googling. Let's see, YouTube, Yahoo could have bought Google. Yeah, look at it. I'm exactly correct. In 2002, Yahoo had the chance to buy Google for $1 billion, but executives dragged their feet. By the time they decided to pursue the offer, Google's price had soared to $3 billion. And I think if you check now, Google is worth at least $4 billion. Oh, and they own Flickr too? Flickr! So long before
I've got
Instagram.
I've got a Flickr.
Could have been the next Instagram.
Flickr's for like professional photographers, though.
Yeah, it was for everyone when it was the only thing. The thing is, they kept it targeted toward. They didn't pay attention to the millions of normies that were using it at the time.
I got a Flickr aspiring to be a professional photographer, and it just kind of fizzled out. On the, I will say though, you post pictures on Flickr and they just look good.
Do they? Does it do something to them?
Well, there's that air of professionalism because it's on Flickr.
Because it's on Flickr?
Plus, it's cool. It like shows the camera settings and stuff. It's a real photographer's photography website.
Yahoo also merged with Microsoft. It's owned by Microsoft now.
What about Bing?
Yeah,
what about Microsoft Bing?
Microsoft Bing is it's good for porn. That's what I've heard. And that's what I've read. The Business Journal.
How about Ask Jeeves?
Ask Jeeves. Is that still around? Can you still ask Jeeves?
Failure with Tumblr.
What? Oh, do you want to get into? You were asking about Jeeves. You were asking how we were going to go to.
Yeah. It's just there's the Tumblr story.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Well, tell the tale of
Yahoo.
Yahoo.
In 20. Yeah. So here we go. In 2013, Yahoo purchased Tumblr for $1.1 billion. Doesn't say by when, but this doesn't really go into the true extent of their failure. I'm pretty sure they sold the company to the tune of like $1 million.
So they bought Tumblr for a lot of money, and they made it worth less money. They bought high and they sold low. That's what happened.
It's exactly what you'd never want to do.
Do you think Tumblr was already destined for failure? Or did
Stock tips.
It looks like Tumblr hasn't changed in decades. You know, it's like got like kind of like a Craigslist sort of thing going on with it, or you know, again, I haven't been to Tumblr. I've only seen screenshots of it on Instagram. Similar to TikTok.
You like werewolf fanfics?
No. Why?
Then you'd hate Tumblr.
Yeah. Well, that was good, Pete. That was some banter.
Yeah, I'm
feel
starting to get more comfortable with this
I feel like that's usable. I think, yeah, the
being on
thing is,
mic thing.
I think we just have to do it for hours and hours until we're good at it. You know, I don't know what's going to happen with the memory card.
Looks like we have 5 minutes left.
Wait, how do you see that?
See that little timer counting down in the bottom right-hand corner?
That's our remaining time left on the card.
I think the R means remaining.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's not good, though. We've only got 36 minutes of content right now. Look how fast it goes once you realize what it means. Well, shit. Do you have any more SD cards?
No. We should probably figure out how to sign off here. Unfortunately.
This isn't enough content, Pete. This content was shit. Fuck. Now all I can do is watch the timer counting down.
People are going to love that. Let's
We'll
pass
fix
in
it in
time
post.
with Marc and Pete.
Yeah, so anyway, this was our first attempt at a podcast. We'll see how much of it is actually usable. Might just have to scrap this one and film again. But it was a good practice run, right? I don't know. Yeah, maybe we should delete it and do it all over again.
By the time you edit it, though, you know, it's just a whole different show.
Maybe. I feel like we got 5 minutes of usable content here. But, anyway, that was Marc and Pete.
Sponsored by Ranch Water.
Sponsored by Ranch Water, West Texas's favorite beverage.
We're here for your viewing pleasure. Come spend some time with us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us on
Wherever podcasts are posted. YouTube.
Yeah. Do we have a Patreon? We've got a Patreon and an OnlyFans. So give us some money there.
OnlyFans.
Check out the merch at markandpete.com. And you got any tour dates lined up?
I'm a little busy this summer.
Pete's a little busy this summer. He's still locked down. He's still in 2 weeks to flatten the curve, right? Hey.
No, I don't have COVID.
Do you have COVID?
I don't have COVID.
Pete had a little COVID scare week ago or something. He was hanging out with his sister, and then his sister tested positive.
I don't think you can say that.
He claims he can't say that.
No, it's like libel.
Is it libel?
It is libel.
He was hanging out with someone, and they tested positive. We'll bleep that it was his sister, and then he claims that he tested himself, and it was negative, but I don't believe him. I bet he's carrying the bug, spreading it around. This was Marc and Pete signing off. Thanks, and have a good night.